How the Camel Got His Hump by Rudyard Kipling. Now this is the next tale, and it tells how the camel got his hump. In the beginning of years, when the world was so new and all the animals were just beginning to work for man, there was a camel, and he lived in the middle of a howling desert because he did not want to work. And besides, he was a howler himself. So he ate sticks and thorns and tamarisks and milkweed and prickles, most excruciatingly idle. And when anyone spoke to him, he just said, hump. Just hump and nothing more. Presently the horse came to him on Monday morning with the saddle on his back and a bit in his mouth, and said, "Camel, oh camel, come out and trot like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel. And the horse went away, and he told the man. Presently the dog came to him with a stick in his mouth and said, "Camel, oh camel, come and fetch and carry like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the dog went away and told the man. Presently the ox came to him with the yoke on his neck and said, "Camel, oh camel, come and plough like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel. And the ox went away, and he told the man. At the end of the day, the man called the horse and the dog and the ox together, and he said, "Three, I'm very sorry for you, with the world so new, but that hump thing in the desert can't work, or he would have been here by now. So I'm going to have to leave him alone, and you must work double time to make up for it." That made the three very angry, with the world so new and they held a palaver and an indaba and a punchette and a powwow on the edge of the desert. And the camel came chewing on milkweed, most excruciatingly idle, and laughed at them. Then he said, "Hump," and went away again. Presently there came along the genie, in charge of all the deserts, rolling in a cloud of dust. Genies always travel that way because it's magic. And he stopped to palaver and powwow with the three. "Genie of all deserts," said the horse, "is it right for anyone to be so idle with the world so new and all?" "Well, certainly not," said the genie. "Well," said the horse, "there's a thing in the middle of your howling desert," and he's a howler himself, "with a long neck and long legs, and he hasn't done a stroke of work since Monday morning. He won't trot." "Huh," said the genie, whistling. "That's my camel. For all the gold in Arabia, what does he say about it?" "He says, 'Hump,'" said the dog, "and he won't fetch and carry." "Does he say anything else?" "Only hump, and he won't plough," said the ox. "Very good," said the genie. I'll hump him if you will kindly wait a minute." The genie rolled himself up in his dust cloak and took a bearing across the desert, and found the camel most excruciatingly idle, looking at his own reflection in the water. "My long and bubbling friend," said the genie, "what's this I hear of your doing no work, with the world so new and all?" "Humph!" said the camel. The genie sat down with his chin in his hand and began to think a great magic, while the camel just looked at his own reflection in the pool of water. "You've given the three extra work ever since Monday morning on account of your excruciating idleness," said the genie, and he went on thinking magics with his chin in his hand. "Humph!" said the camel. "I shouldn't say that again if I were you," said the genie. "You might say it once too often. Bubbles, I want you to work." And the camel said, "Humph!" again. But no sooner had he said it than he saw his back, that he was so proud of, puffing up into a great big lolloping humph. "Do you see that?" said the genie. "That's your very own humph that you've brought upon your own self by not working. Today is Thursday, and you've done no work at all since Monday, when the work began. Now, you are going to work." "Oh, how can I," said the camel, "with this hump on my back?" "That's made on purpose," said the genie, "all because you missed 3 days. You will now be able to work for 3 days without eating, because you can live on your hump. And don't you ever say I never did anything for you. Come out of the desert and go to the 3 and behave. Hump for yourself." And the camel humphed himself, humph and all, and went away to join the 3. And from that day to this, the camel always wears a humph. We call it hump now, not to hurt his feelings, but he has never yet caught up with the 3 days that he missed at the beginning of the world, and he has never yet learned how to behave. The camel's hump is an ugly lump, which well you may see at the zoo. But uglier yet is the hump we get from having too little to do. Kiddies and grown-ups too. If we haven't enough to do, we get the hump. Camellia's hump. The hump that is black and blue. We climb out of bed with a frowsly head and a snarly-arly voice. We shiver and scowl, and we grunt and we growl at our bath and our boots and our toys. And there ought to be a corner for me, and I know there is for you. When we get the hump, Camellia's hump, the hump that is black and blue, the cure for this is not to sit still or frowst with a book by the fire, but to take a large hoe and a shovel also, and dig till you gently perspire. And then you will find that the sun and the wind and the genie of the garden too have lifted the hump, the horrible hump, the hump that is black and blue. I get it, as well as you, if I haven't enough to do. We all get hump, Camellius hump, kiddies and grown-ups too.